Take the Lead, where each week we explore womanhood and leadership. And I'm your host, Yo Canny. This week we're celebrating the women who broke new ground in 2023 and are leading the way for others to follow. From astronauts to Nobel Prize winners, women secured first-time achievements in diverse fields like entertainment, sports, business, education, science, and the military. These accomplishments mark important milestones and remind us of the numerous roles that, up until now, have been occupied solely by men, often for centuries. I offer these stories as an inspiration for all of us of what can be possible by following our own passions, being tenacious, and getting out of our own way by understanding ourselves, particularly our emotions. Here we go. Some of the amazing women of 2023 we can be grateful to and cheer on. Starting first with the military. Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Gen X, became the first woman to lead the U.S. Navy when the Senate voted to approve her in November. She also became the first woman to serve on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Her nomination was approved 95-1 as the Senate pushed to fill critical openings in military leadership. Next is Vice President Kamala Harris. She became the first woman to give a West Point commencement speech in the military academy's 221-year history. And a point I didn't know was that women weren't allowed to attend West Point until 1976, a year after Congress passed legislation that allowed women to enroll at the Federal Service Academies. In 1980, Andrea Holland became the first of 62 pioneering women to graduate from West Point. Since then, more than 5,000 women have graduated from the military academy. Next, Lieutenant Amanda Lee, millennial. She's the first female fighter jet pilot to earn a spot with the Blue Angels, the Navy's flight demonstration squad, in its 76-year history. And there's Army Sergeant Marcielle Hay, who we think is a Gen Z, and she's the Army's first female active duty sniper. Next, in academics and science, Christina Koch, Gen X. She'll become the first female astronaut assigned to a lunar mission. In April, NASA named the 4 astronauts headed to the moon after a 50-year hiatus. Then there's Claudia Golden, Boomer, became the first solo woman awarded the Nobel Prize in Economics. Even more remarkably, she won for studying obstacles women face in obtaining equal pay. Here's a little background about her study. She meticulously traces the evolution of the American economy from agriculture to manufacturing to services, revealing that women were historically excluded from market activities. Only when jobs expanded beyond factories into offices, schools, and hospitals did women gain access to the workforce. One of the things I loved about her work was this notion of greedy jobs, which she defined as those that require people to prioritize their work commitments over other commitments in their life, such as spouses, children, and friends. She noted that what's interesting about greedy jobs is that the more hours people put in, the higher the hourly rate of pay. But it's not only that these jobs typically require people to work longer, unpredictable hours. They're also expected to prioritize work over whatever is happening in their lives. As Golden argues, the fact that people in greedy jobs enjoy an exponential rise in income leaves people with difficult choices. Here's what she said about that. The whole point of the implicit model is that if greedy work pays such a disproportionate amount more, couples are then enticed to give up their 50-50 desires. They're, in some sense, being bribed to do that. Really interesting. Several universities broke new ground by naming female presidents for the first time in 2023. Before these appointments, men led these institutions for hundreds of years. Some notable new university heads included Dr. Sean Leah Baylock. She's a Gen X, the first ever woman to lead Dartmouth College since its founding in the year 1769. Dr. Manoshi Shafik, a millennial, at Columbia University. Dr. Linda Miles, late boomer, becoming the first female president in NYU's 192-year history. Dr. Safa Zaki at Bowdoin, Gen X, and Dr. Ellen Granberg, late boomer, at George Washington University. Boston University announced that Dr. Melissa Gillum, Gen X, will steer the university starting July 2024. And just as background, she's the first black woman to serve as provost of Ohio State University before becoming the president of Boston University. Cynthia Teniente Madsen, late boomer, serves as the 31st president of San Jose State University. An internationally recognized Latina leader, President Teniente Madsen is a champion of student success initiatives, diversity, equity, and inclusion. The nation's largest four-year university system, which is the California State University System, selected a Latina, Mildred Garcia, to oversee its 23 campuses for the first time. And in sports, we've seen some really great firsts. Kim Ng, Gen X, became the first female general manager to take a Major League Baseball team to the playoffs this year. Ng made history as MLB's first female general manager when the Miami Marlins hired her in November 2020. But Ng stepped down from this historic position in October after the team planned to hire someone over her to run baseball operations. You go, girl. Dong Han Wan, a millennial from China, became the first female climber in the world to complete all 14 peaks above 8,000 meters when she reached the summit of Mount Shishapangma in Tibet in April. WNBA star Candace Parker, millennial, became the first woman to call an NBA All-Star game. During the February broadcast, the former player explained why who calls the game is important. Representation and opportunity matter, she said. Brown University's Olivia Pichardo, a Gen Z, became the first woman to play in a D1 baseball game as a pinch hitter. And Haley Van Voorhees, Gen Z, became the first woman who was not a kicker or punter to appear in an NCAA college football game on September 23rd. Van Voorhees is a junior at Shenandoah University and plays safety. And Kristen O'Shafer, a millennial, became the first woman to win the Golden Globe race, a sailing race around the world. She finished in 233 days, 20 hours, 43 minutes, and 47 seconds. In politics, after a historic vote, Cheryl Parker, Gen X, became Philadelphia's 100th mayor and first black woman elected to the office. Senator Patty Murray, a boomer, made history in April, casting her 10,000th vote on the Senate floor and became the first woman to do so. Only 32 other senators, all men, have achieved that milestone. In entertainment, you might know some of these. Greta Gerwig, millennial, made history with Barbie and achieved the highest debut ever for a film directed by a woman, with 162 million in North America ticket sales. And Taylor Swift, millennial, was named Time's 2023 Person of the Year, making her the first woman to appear twice on a Person of the Year cover. Spotify announced in August that Swift also became the first woman to amass 100 million monthly active listeners. Oh boy, 100 million. I have like 45 Spotify active listeners. Oh well. Missy Elliott, Gen X, became the first female hip-hop artist inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in February. And Beyoncé, millennial, became the most awarded artist in Grammy history when she won her 32nd trophy in the Best Dance Electronic Album category earlier this year. In looking at business, several Fortune 500 companies appointed women to the helm for the first time in 2023. To name a few, Ernst & Young named Janet Trunkall, Gen X, its chief executive officer, placing the first woman atop a Big Four audit firm. And Julie Sloat, Gen X, took the top spot at American Electric Power in January, and Maria Black, also Gen X, took the helm at ADP in January. You go, Gen Xers. Well, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. They help us see some of the progress being made to break through by being the first. I was reminded this holiday by my Peas in a Pod squad how important it is to acknowledge ourselves. A shout out to Rachel Blair, who sent each of us in our little group a gift that included a horn to toot ourselves and a blank card to write a letter to ourselves to acknowledge all we've done this year. Okay, I suggest you do the same. That's right. Get a blank card or just some paper, or even on the computer, write out your 2023 accomplishments and keep it nearby to remind ourselves how great we are. Oh, and take a little dance, won't you? Like we did. Thank you for listening today, and we sure hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a comment wherever you listen to your podcast. Tell a friend about us, join our public Facebook group, Girl Take the Lead, or visit our website, girltaketheleadpod.com. We also have a YouTube channel where your subscription would be appreciated, where you can see videos to go with the episodes. Once you're on YouTube, search Girl Take the Lead. And we've expanded to YouTube Music, so you can find our podcast there too. Next week, since it'll be a new year, we'll take a look at intentions and habits. So stay tuned and please join us again. Thanks for being here. Talk to you soon. Bye.